Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. This is Out of Bounds. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia, with me, my two best friends, the Welsh and Scott Bogman, and it's all of you hanging out on our Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to be for NFL content, easier than YouTube to get a hold of us, that's for sure, as we continue to grow the platform on our Twitch. But if you're watching us on demand on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the stream, drop your comments below. We got lots of fun things to talk about today. Week 2 just about in the books. We're recording on Monday, so 2 Monday night games still going on. We're going to play a little Panic or Patience later in the show. We're going to recap the 3-1-1. We're going to do takeaways from Week 2, our favorite moments of the week before we say goodbye to it, do a little Q&A. But first, we've got fun things to give away. A Ricky Pearsall signed 49ers helmet. That's right, it can be yours. Over from pristineauction.com. Ricky Pearsall mini helmet right now. Whether you're a Niners fan like the Welsh or you just like collecting cool NFL signed stuff, this is a must-have addition for the shelf. So if you want to enter, leave a comment on any of our Twitch streams. That's twitch.tv/fantasypros. And as always, Twitch subscribers, when you subscribe with your Amazon Prime, get 1.5 times odds boost of winning this bad boy, just as a thank you for supporting the channel. And we'll be announcing the winner on Tuesday the 16th. That's tomorrow. Or today, depending on when you're watching it, or yesterday. I don't know. All right, gentlemen, great to see you all. Obviously, we got to kick things off here with the biggest, bit of news is the Joe Burrow absence. He's going to have surgery. It was a turf toe that grade 3 level, not good. Months is going to be where he's missing. And I went back to look at the Jake Browning stats from when 2023, when he had taken over. And Welsh, I got to say, I was kind of surprised at how good some of them were in terms of the finishes against the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers the first 2 weeks, at Baltimore and then home against Pittsburgh. He was QB 23, QB 18. Then after that, QB 4 at Jacksonville, QB 4 again against Indianapolis, this time at home, Minnesota at home, QB 8, QB 21 again at Pittsburgh defense a couple years ago, pretty stout, at KC, QB 8, and then versus Cleveland, QB 9. So Welsh, I'm going to start here with this question. Can Ja'Marr Chase still finish as a wide receiver 1 with Joe Burrow missing Munch with our good pal Jake Browning now under center?
Could he? Sure. Will he? No, I don't think so. Browning did not look good. And I think the best case that we're going to get out of here, regardless of all of that, is that Browning becomes a game manager. Now, game managers have worked. Like Daniel Jones is kind of a game manager. He's making that happen. I think it's going to be a little bit few and far between. Like, you do have to give credit that Browning was kind of thrust into it, and that the first portions of it were really gross, and he was able to pull out of it. So, like, I don't want to be like, just like put the wall down and say there's absolutely no chance. Sure, he could, but we're getting some big stuff. Malik Neighbors looks absolutely insane right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown is just showing up to everybody. I just think there's so much competition in the league with these deep ball throwers, and the Giants, like particularly with Neighbors here for a second, they're just like, if you take Jefferson out because it's McCarthy stuff looks bad, the Giants are going to always be from behind, and all they have are gunslingers out there, and Malik Neighbors is just going to have like 150, 200 plus air yards every single game. So just like, I think there's just a little too much competition for it. So I'm going to say no, but I don't think it's going to be where people are going to be, up late at night, like, why did I take Ja'Marr Chase number 1? Like, it's a bad team. He's going to get a bunch of targets. I think it's just going to be tough to get those touchdowns, but you know what? They'll be behind a bunch, and maybe they'll just be able to continue slinging it.
Well, look, Browning's been in the offense for years, right? The verbiage hasn't changed. Playbook has always been kind of evolving while he's been there. So continuity is important. He's got a lot of support. He's got Chase. He's got Higgins. He's got Chase Brown. Awesome Dev in the chat here asking, is Browning a pickup in Superflex for us Burrow holders? Yeah, I think he is, Boggs. So, Boggs, in this top of the first here for the questions with the asses here, I got to tell you, like, I feel like Ja'Marr has a shot at it. I'm where Welsh is, where, like, it's harder now. It's going to be significantly more difficult, but that defense is still bad. And I'm curious what your take is on Ja'Marr Chase rest of season, and might as well throw in, too, your thoughts about the value that he might have in Superflex going forward for those who have lost Joe Burrow, like myself, in a few Superflex leagues.
Yeah, I mean, the offense is still going to be geared towards passing. That's not going to change. So Ja'Marr Chase's volume is going to be high. But I think when Wells said Neighbors with a good quarterback is so much better. And I think obviously Ja'Marr Chase is too. Think of Chase like you thought of Neighbors last season with terrible quarterback play, but he's still going to have 170 targets. So he's still going to be a top 5 wideout. number one is very difficult without your best QB. See CeeDee Lamb last year, right? So, yeah, it sucks that Jamar Chase doesn't have his quarterback right now. They played together in college and in the pros, so obviously he takes a step down. But is it a step out of the top 5? I don't really think so.
Next 4 opponents, by the way, for Jamar Chase and the Bengals. At Minnesota, tough defense. At Denver, theoretically tough defense. Then they get Detroit at home and then at Green Bay. So it is kind of a tough upcoming schedule. So
that's a gauntlet. Yeah,
it is a gauntlet. It definitely is. So tread lightly, but that's what the Bengals now have in store for them. It just also crushed my Joe Burrow MVP shares that I had to start the year. So
those are dead.
Yeah, those are, there's no chance. There's no chance for those. Unfortunately,
I somehow was able to cash out for still a couple bucks still. I don't know how. I was like, how did they let me do this? So I didn't lose all of the money, but I lost most of the money. But that is why they call it wagering at the end of the day. All right, let's get to another Q&A. Who will change quarterbacks first? The Browns or the Giants? I know Russell Wilson threw for, 4,000 yards yesterday, Bogman, but those moon balls don't always land in the hands of his own teammates sometimes. So I know it was a fun game. Well, maybe less fun if you're a Giants fan. Certainly, it was a fun week too, unless you're a fan of New York football.
Hey, if you're a Giants fan, that's the best game you've had in a while. So
probably at least the most entertaining. But of course, you came up a little short. But all things being equal right now, it is still another loss here with Russell Wilson and the Giants, and still Joe Flacco going into Baltimore. It was not necessarily what we hoped for. A cover did not happen. They kind of just got their butt handed to them, and the Cedric Tillman touchdown was kind of a lucky piece there. That's
so lucky. Accidental Cedric Tillman touchdown. The most
better to be in the right place at the right time, Boggs. That's all I'm saying. Right place, right time. So who changes QBs first, the Browns or the Giants, Bogman?
I think it's going to be the Browns. I think at least the Giants' offense looks good right now. Wandale looks good. Cam Scatterboo back there is the lead back. Looks awesome now, and that offense is clicking. The secondary was miserable. They got torched all day. So I think it's the Browns. I mean, Dylan Gabriel came in and threw that touchdown pass to Sampson at the end of the game. That was both their first touchdowns. So I think it's the Browns. I mean, the Browns held the Bengals to, what was it, 7 yards of offense in the second half, and they still lost that game. They looked miserable against Baltimore. I think it's got to be Cleveland.
Well, Bogman just said something provocative too. The starting running back, Cam Scatterboo, which I'm all for.
Lead back.
Lead back, whatever you want to call it, however you want to phrase it. I mean, I like the sound of that. I got a lot of shares. Sounds good to me. But what's your take here? Who changes QBs first? Browns pivot or Giants pivot?
I think it actually could be pretty close to both of these. But what Russ did up until just making one of the biggest bonehead bad throws at the end where you're just he was 500, boom, and just threw it up to nobody. There's such a dummy play. But he still, almost 500 yards. Had he had that completion and it gone on, he could have had 500 yards in that game. So it's a little bit more of a leash, but at the same time, you see Jackson Dart kind of getting implemented a little bit. If I had to pick one, I would pick the Browns. I think the Browns, season kind of going to get behind them pretty quick. I see a lot of Judkins stuff in there, and I thought Judkins looked really impressive. But what I'm getting at is they just got some young stars that I don't know if they're going to be highly competitive in that division, and they probably want to make that move pretty quick here. And that's why guys like Jerome Ford and Joe Flacco will probably be the first to go.
Circling back to our first question, we were talking about the Bengals because we got some folks here leaving some good questions. Life with Five, trade T. Higgins for Rashee Rice. Welsh, would you do that? I mean, it's kind of you're already 2 weeks down into the Rice thing. You'd have to wait another month here. But considering that schedule we just laid out with some of those defenses, I don't hate this deal. What do you think?
Yeah, no chance I'm doing this. Not even close.
No?
I think I think if anything, I'm making the argument on the whole Jamar Chase thing that what defenses are going to do is shut Chase the hell down. If you could make one focal point, what do you want to shut down? You want to shut down Jamar Chase. That creates more opportunities for T. Higgins. He looked great yesterday. They're probably going to be behind in every game, so this kind of hurts Chase Brown. So no, I'm not gonna eat 4 weeks of a wide receiver you hope is going to be, or at maybe all intents and purposes is kind of on the same level as T. Higgins. I'll take T.
Shout out to some of the folks who just subbed over on Twitch. Maurism just subbed. Very cool. Leahy 65. Dope just did. Skin and Van Rod just cheered some bits. We love Van Rod, friend of the show. We love her. Also, here's another question too. It's kind of interesting. What side of this deal you want to be on here? This is from Walca with several thousand A's. Chase owner is offering Chase and Pickens for Lamb and Pearsall. So who do you want, Chase and Pickens or Lamb or Pearsall? As Welsh has to step out for us.
Well, someone said my mic. Someone was like, "Could I turn my mic down?" Like, what are you talking about? I'm fine.
You're fine. Everything's fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine. All the stuff.
Don't listen to those people. Everything's fine. Boggs, what do you think of this one? Chase and Pickens for Lamb and Pearsall.
I want Lamb and Pearsall. And I like Chase and Pickens. I think this is maybe the most fair trade ever. Kind of, why are you doing this? But if you think Jamar Chase is going to take a back seat, then yeah, let's take Lamb over him. If everything's equal and Lamb has his quarterback and Chase doesn't, give me Lamb.
By the way, Welsh, our producer Seth said, not only do you sound good, but you look handsome too.
Oh, thank you so much. I always get that. People are always saying that.
All right, the next question for the asses are the Colts for real? I think one of the things we didn't think about enough this offseason is Lou Anarumo is a really good defensive coordinator. He got fired not that long ago by the Cincinnati Bengals, and I don't think it's old man Lou's fault. They didn't give him a lot to work with. When they did, they went to the Super Bowl. He's a very talented defensive coordinator, and look, I know the Colts should have lost that game at the end, but they didn't. And sometimes, you hang around long enough, good things happen at the right moments, and Daniel Jones has played very well. We asked the question last week, is Daniel Jones this year Sam Darnold? I don't want to ask that same question again. So instead, Welsh, are the Colts for real as we see them now start to venture outside of Indianapolis and play some teams on the road?
Yeah, I think they really are. And we got to be careful with everything we do. Like in 15 minutes, we're going to talk about how we can't get too overzealous about just week one, calling off some guys too soon. So it's like 2 weeks. We need like 3 or 4 games to know a true sample size. But if you just watch the Colts, they have their run game. Jonathan Taylor looks sick. They've got, I think, if you would put like a Patrick Mahomes there, they have an explosive offense of different type of playmakers. Alec Pierce can stretch the field. Downs, Tyler Warren looks so good. Michael Pittman, when he doesn't have Patrick Surtain on him, or when Surtain has a boot on or whatever, he looks good. Their defense is playing it up. But Daniel Jones, he's doing just enough to get it done. He's running the ball. They've got their little goal line package. What I'm getting is they have all of the pieces. I don't see any and they did this, by the way. In this game, they were doing that without 2 of their corners. They had more, but they were without Ward, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name. So it's like, this would be the prime type of team. Go out and make a trade, try to get an available defensive player just to shore up that little last piece of the defense. But I really like the offense. I do think they're for real. They look like a playoff team. And Bogman knows I did call them to make the playoffs this year. And I don't even know if I had them in the division as well. So feeling good about
it's funny because last year I was all team Colts. If you guys remember, I was like, they're my sneaky team this year because I really like Shane Steichen, and they were terrible last year. Again, the quarterback position. If you don't have the quarterback, you don't have anything here. Boggs, Daniel Jones right now is QB2 in fantasy points per game. 26.2 behind him with Lamar Jackson. Sure, the 3 rushing touchdowns, they certainly help. But do you think the Colts are for real? They certainly look pretty real, especially offensive line-wise.
Hey, listen, Welsh and I preached from the jump. I was a big Anthony Richardson guy, right? But I was like, listen, if you draft Anthony Richardson, also draft Daniel Jones. You have the starting quarterback here. Sure. And it has worked. This system has been made for a guy to run. And, let's not think of Daniel Jones as New York Daniel Jones. Think of him as I think if you would put him in the Niners situation, he would have been what Brock Purdy was, right? And I think that's kind of what they have going on in the offense with the Colts. I don't think they have the defense to match the Niners, so I don't think they're a legit Super Bowl contender, but are they a contender to make the playoffs and win every single week? Yes. They just beat the Broncos. My whole thing was I don't think they're going to get past the Broncos defense, and they did. Even if it was a penalty to win it, they put up a bunch of points. So if they can move the ball on the Broncos, I think they're going to be able to move the ball.
He is not New York Jones. He's Indiana Jones.
100%.
Oh, there you go. God, you were waiting forever to do that one.
I was. Everybody's been doing it in the chat.
Who's the best Burrow replacement? Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, or Trevor Lawrence?
Well, it's not Russell. I can tell you that much.
I think it's Daniel Jones.
And that's fine.
I think it's Daniel Jones. All right, so there we go.
It's Trevor Lawrence. unless Daniel Jones continues to do this. Like, we're
I don't
2
know.
weeks in, and we're like,
Jones
Daniel
has
Jones
been
is top
rushing for
10.
touchdowns with the tush push at the goal line too. Like,
he's been doing that. He's also been a guy historically that's been pretty good running the football anyway, right? That was the one thing we're like, well, it doesn't always look pretty, but as your QB2 in Superflex, Daniel Jones is going to run around a lot. And whenever he did have a healthy Saquon Barkley and some actual guys around him, he was serviceable at best at times. But again, those times where Saquon was healthy and
the
Daniel
best
Jones
wide
was playing
receiver he
were
had
never
the whole
happening.
time was half a
Darius
year
Slayton.
Malik Neighbors. It was Darius Slayton before that.
Yeah, and a little bit of Malik, yeah. But by then, I think everything was already
Yeah.
just doomed to fail. Speaking of doomed to fail, this is the easiest transition I'm going to make all day. Mike McDaniel, will he be Miami head coach come October 1st? 12 straight possessions, by the way, they have allowed to score going back to last year. Just wanted to point that out. I thought that was a stunning statistic that I wanted to share with the group today. Scott Bogman, October 1st, will he be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins still?
I mean, if you're going to fire him, why wouldn't it be after this week? You play on Thursday Night Football. If you go out and just get maimed by the Buffalo Bills, you have that extra time.
The line says it might be. I think it's up to 13 right now.
What's the earliest a head coach has been fired in a season? That would be the thing I would point back to. Like, it's too early.
You're right. It is too early. But this is the right time. If you were going to do it, it's on a Thursday Night Football week, so you have extra days to prep.
Is it weird to say Bill Belichick, who had the job for just one day? And then, well, he wasn't fired.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. I'm like, who got fired? Like, to me, this is a bye week thing, or it's in the double digit. Like, he's getting fired. He's not lasting for this team unless all of a sudden
more likely their bye week.
Yeah, like the offensive line can learn to block and Tua can hit the wide receivers and stuff like that. Unless all of that changes, he's getting fired. So October 1st, I think he's still there because I think this is way too early. I don't think we see coaches get fired in week 2 or 3, but by week 6 or 7, or if there's a bye week that's attached to it, he's gone. He's 100%
This is
gone.
a fun one. George Allen in 1978, Los Angeles Rams. He coached 2 preseason games and they fired him.
Their bye week is week 12.
Well, he ain't making
pretty deep in the season.
Yeah, I always said he was gonna. I was gonna say, well, week 12 by then they'll have somebody else. I don't think
anything since we've been alive. It looks like the most recent is Lane Kiffin.
1978.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Yeah, Lane Kiffin outlasted 20. It says 20 games though with the Raiders. So it's like games. it's.
Well, McDaniel's been around longer.
That's
but
the
like
beginning
into
stint.
a season. I think that's the question. Like how many games into a season?
Yeah, that article we just got, that was like shortest stints with a team. It's at the start of a season. And I don't think 2 or 3 games is where you're going to cut bait or anything like that. By the way,
Mayor is right. Games. UCLA just fired Deshaun Foster yesterday after 3 games at UCLA.
College program's completely different, though.
It is.
Again, Frank Coughlin by the Rock Island Independence in 1921. We want to go that route? I don't think so. All right, so fair enough.
How about when everybody could play the game and not just whites?
So I think the better, thank you. The better marker there is November 1st. November 1st. Is he still the head coach? That I think it's reasonable to say November 1st.
I don't think he gets there. I don't think he gets there. I think this is a bad situation. And you know what's really frustrating too? And I'm just going to vent for a second. I thought that they would get to a different style of game too, where they were going to get back to let's run the football. Let's have Ollie Gordon be like where he Mostert was, and Achane do his thing, and let's control the ball a little bit. There's none of that. Like it's like they have no will to run the football, or they just can't because of the offensive line. But the defense is terrible. It's a hot mess.
They had a players only meeting, which is what you do when the coaching staff is gone, right? Like I would not be shocked if it was after this week. If they get trounced, if they get beat 42-3 or something by Buffalo on Thursday Night Football,
they're going to.
They probably will. You pissed off Josh Allen with his broken nose or whatever. Their offense didn't look great last week, but the offense isn't completely miserable, but I don't know, man. McDaniel's not the guy for this job. I think he goes soon. So I'd say it's 50-50 on October 1st.
Bunting and Critical Lines also just sub. That's awesome on the Twitch. Again, sub. We're trying to give away that cool helmet from Pristine Auction for Ricky Pearsall. Go ahead, Welsh.
Well, you didn't sound like you were going to say it, but how about our boy Skinna, who just gifted 5 community subs into the chat? So that's a good reason to come and hang out, be a follower because you can get those gifted subs. That means 5 people don't have to deal with the ads. You also supported the channel, so shout out to Skinna for the help there.
It's like the Monday afternoon quarterbacking, baby. This is what we're doing. We're just taking a look back, having some fun, shooting the breeze. Be with us every single. You can be live on the show Tuesdays on the Twitch. Hang out with us. All right, let's get to some takeaways and our favorite moments. My big takeaway here, and I was kind of holding out hope here that maybe we'd see a little bit at the end of the year. Last year, Carolina started to show a little bit of life, and I thought, well, maybe that'll carry over. It is not. The Panthers, my big takeaway, will never win games with Bryce Young. Period. End of story. He has a 6-25 overall record that equates to a winning percentage career of 19%. That's the worst in the NFL in the history of the NFL of number one quarterbacks in the modern era. It's just over. It's done. And if Canales wants to, make a change here. Not that Andy Dalton is the pivot point, but enough is enough. Like, I just don't think Bryce Young's ever going to figure it out. And I was not the big Boggs knows this when we used to do the college football show together. I was constantly belaboring, the deficits of Bryce Young, and all of those things have come home to roost here at the NFL level, just like they will with Caleb Williams. And I was lamenting him as well. Boggs, what are your thoughts here on Bryce Young real quick before we get to your takeaway?
I mean, he's been bad, so I don't hate this take. And I think the Panthers are just going to be in for signing someone next year and also drafting someone. So it's hard to argue against this.
I probably would have said this had you not already put this on here. Like he looked so lost. He looked
lost.
So lost.
I think lost it. Like Tua looked bad. He just looked lost.
Yeah, play the music.
Awesome Dev. Too soon to fire sale Drake London. What do you guys think? I think it is too soon.
Yes.
Fire sale him? Yeah, absolutely. But he does not look like the number one overall wide receiver in the game.
Well,
bad fumble.
Missed practice all week with an injury. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Go buy him. I'm going to buy. You know what? I'll just tell you right now. Get to another question. Someone's probably to see a million of these BTJ owners. It looks bad, but it's not going to be this bad. We're going to have
a 12 targets.
BTJ from Jay Rito. Should I trade BTJ and Swift for London?
Absolutely not. But I'm telling you, I'm probably going to go buy the absolute panickers of Drake London and BTJ right now. They're too talented of wide receivers. If we're using the words fire sale attached to those players, give me those players at a discount, please.
I want to hear what Deepak has to say about this wrist thing from BTJ that we found out about this morning. So let me hear that first, because the wrist thing for Tyreek Hill was bad last year. So as long as it's not that, because we just found out about this BTJ thing this morning, right? We didn't hear about the wrist thing after the game, or at least I didn't. So let me hear what Deepak has to say about this wrist, and then I'll buy on him, but I'm buying on London as well.
Boggs, give me your takeaway from week 2.
Yeah, we buried in graves Amon-Ra St. Brown and Ken Walker just way too early.
Well, Ken Walker, I wasn't burying, but I was definitely at least looking at
sites. We as the industry, not the three
sites.
of us.
I was trying to decide, is it more of like a burial thing? Is it more of a cremation thing? Like, I just didn't know. But I was definitely looking at brochures.
Right,
I wasn't ready to bury him yet.
Well,
St. Brown, zero concern. Zero.
I feel like, Amon-Ra St. Brown was way overdone, I thought. Still the number one wide out there, still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Let's calm down. And they made it a point to get him the ball.
Goff at home is just a different dude.
That's very true. Indoor cat, as you like to say.
Indoor cat, as I say.
But Ken Walker, I mean, I talked about it last week. I said it doesn't look good, but let's see if maybe this was a, Ken Walker was ramping up thing. It still didn't look good in snaps. Charbonnet still had way more snaps, but Ken Walker clearly a better back. Now, so what's happening here? I feel like Seattle is just, when Charbonnet comes onto the field, he's getting the ball. So teams instantly go into that run defense. So he got the ball 15 times and had 20 yards. It was a terrible game for him. So I think they're telegraphing too much, but I do think it's still going to be an annoying mix between these guys. And even though Walker had a much better game, Charbonnet still had more snaps. So I don't think this solves the problem, but it definitely adds to the problem of the Seattle running backs right now.
All right, Welsh, week 2, biggest takeaway. What do you have?
Well, I have a real one, and then I have one that I think is probably the most important. The most important, we found out that it is no longer Bijan. It's back to Bijan. We're going through this crazy thing. If you watched the game last night, so 2 weeks ago, we got the whole video that he was he corrected people. He's like, by the way, it's Bijan Robinson. And everyone's like, okay. So we're all scrambling to try to say it correctly. Well, last night, I hear Collinsworth and them 1,200 times say Bijan. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? You guys are saying it wrong now. And then we find out that Bijan Robinson recorrected them. He said, no, I actually don't like being called Bijan. I want to be called Bijan. And then they played the video. So, ladies and gentlemen, the most important takeaway from week 2, it's now Bijan Robinson. It is officially Bijan Robinson. We can call him that and not feel guilty about it.
I think this is important.
I think this is huge.
Goofy one. I think this is important. What was the other one, just out of curiosity?
Well, just two guys, Judkins looked ridiculous, and just want to point out, like, he had 10 carries and forced 5 missed tackles to start. I think he's real. And this might be overreaction to week 2. Guys, Troy Franklin looks absolutely ridiculous. And if you go and look after his 2 weeks of stats, by the way, he's near the tippy top of first read percentage. He had like a 25% target share, routes, yards per route run. He's doing everything. He's being targeted a bunch and design plays. He's one of the top design plays. I think Troy Franklin is real after this week. I don't think it's just a little mirage. They do throw to 1,200 different players, but it looks like Troy Franklin's going to be a guy that's going to be 4 to 6 targets. We need to see a little bit more. I got a little excited about my booty take, and they threw him 1 target this past week, which was stupid. Luckily, it was a touchdown. But I think Troy Franklin actually might be real, and if he's still sitting out on the wire, I'm going to try to go get him.
Yeah, look, he's also rostered in less than 10% of leagues on Sleeper, by the way.
I can tell you exactly why this happened, because Jake, Fitz, and I had an argument over who the 2 was. Fitz was saying Mims, I was saying Bryant, and Jake said Vedley. So that is why Troy Franklin is amazing. You're all
they have that connection from college, but again, last year there was a tease of this, and then it went away, if you recall, right?
Yeah.
So there's every reason to believe that after week 1, everyone's like, okay, I'm not going to buy that, whatever. But after this week, I think it's...
I even jumped off Pat Bryant onto Marvin Mims when he got all those snaps.
Let me throw this
earlier.
out there. If he's 8% rostered now, let's say come Thursday night game, what's the roster percentage, Welsh?
25. 25.
Boggs, what do you think it goes up to?
I don't think it'll be enough.
35.
One thing I want to point out is we spend so much time talking about like this Joker role, blah, blah, blah. One of the main things about it is like these short yards guys that come out. That's what Franklin is doing a ton of. He's running a lot of these short yards thing. He's one of the top guys in yards after reception so far. And I don't know if that's going to stop at all. They're using Ingram a lot in the slot. The running back situation is just wacky. No. Franklin, they are moving around a whole bunch. And I just think he is kind of that like unique piece that can play everything there. So I'm very, very much into Troy Franklin right now.
Here's one from Mattman, Ingram worth dropping. Look, I mean,
yeah.
There's enough tight ends that justifies it.
Yeah. I mean, the hard part is last week was such a tight end heavy waiver wire between Fannin and Juwan Johnson.
Yeah.
Like this is tough.
But people could have dropped like Hunter Henry, which I know he didn't have a good game.
Look, I think Mark Andrews.
Juwan Johnson is still 17.3% rostered. Zach Ertz is under 50%, right? Well, Jatavian Sanders had 9 targets. Like there's so many other guys you could have. And Ingram's just not getting on the field.
From Pillar, should I drop Jerry Jeudy for Alec Manor? Look, I like Manor, but I think that's a bit of a reach.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm also.
I think you should add Alec Manor, but I don't know if you want to drop him for Jerry.
Not at the expense of the number 1 receiver on that team, but he's definitely someone you should look at. I think Manor versus Franklin is kind of more of an interesting discussion.
Franklin is 3% in Yahoo leagues, by the way.
Yeah.
3%. My God, what are we doing over Yahoo?
It might be a week 2 thing, and you got to be open to it. But at the same time, like we have to make those decisions early on. Otherwise, it's going to get away from us. And Franklin's a guy, 10 teamers. It's not really an option. You guys can't do much about this. But 12 team and above, you've got some dead weight. I got some dead weight for you. You got Caleb Johnson. Cut his ass and get Troy Franklin on your roster and see if it works out one more week.
Amen.
By the way, breaking news before we get to our favorite moment of the week. Commanders, Jayden Daniels underwent MRI following the loss of the Packers game. Was diagnosed with a sprained knee. Not a long-term injury, but Daniels' status for this week versus the Raiders is in doubt. And that's from Ian Rappaport.
Okay, so guys, can we
like
do this? Let's turn the lights down. Let's turn the lights down. Let's have a visual. Let's have a visual for all the quarterbacks here because this is getting bad. We lost Joe Burrow. We lost Purdy. Are we going to lose Jayden Daniels too? Are there any other quarterbacks? Please, everybody around us, light the visual, get a song.
It's just a vigil. See, you're doing a Welshism.
I am doing it, yeah.
You're making a visual and a vigil. It's just
we're doing a visual.
Oh, you want to do Arms of the Angels?
I was going to say Arms of the
Angels. In the arms of the angels, quarterbacks go away. Oh, this is very sad. This is making me depressed. Let's turn the lights back on because this is a lot.
But the quarterback thing is like got hit with week 2 quarterback stuff to an insane degree, and was really hoping there's going to be nothing with Daniels. But hey, light a candle tonight if you're sitting at home, and just put a little thought into the quarterback so we can stop losing them. We can't have an NFL season that is centered around Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, and Jake Browning. We can't do this.
If that's not the social clip from the show this week, I don't know what is. Okay, let's do our favorite moments. For me, it was a football moment. It was a football moment where at the end of the Chiefs game, Chris Jones is running his mouth at Jalen Hurts, and at the final need, I don't know why he said this, but at the final kneel down, he goes, "You didn't even throw for 100 yards," which is wrong. He threw for 101. But it doesn't matter. He's still talking trash at the end. And Jalen Hurts replies, "We won the effing game. Yeah. Shut your ass up." I love this. We won the effing game. Shut your ass up. And you know what? Look, I know from fantasy folks, they don't like it because, like, hey, Jalen Hurts could have had a lot more fantasy points, but it's about winning football games, and Jalen Hurts gets it. And one thing I like about Hurts the most is the lack of ego of that kid, that he just wants to put the work in and win football games. And he's a guy that got replaced at Alabama. He's a guy that had to kind of reinvent himself. He's a guy nobody said could, be a starting quarterback in the NFL, led a team to the Super Bowl twice, and now has a ring. Like, you got to give a lot of respect to Jalen Hurts. I don't think he gets enough respect, to be honest. But I am a little worried about the Eagles so far to start the year. Things look out of sync there, and I don't know why. And they play the Rams this week, and I feel like the Rams want a piece of the Eagles. That's going to be one of the most fascinating games of week 3 coming up. Boggs, what is your favorite moment of the week?
The only one that I had this week, Joe, and that was the Scatterboo touchdown. So very happy to see Scatterboo leading this backfield. So at least one of my takes was correct this week. So love seeing that.
All right, Welsh, how about you? Favorite moment of week 2 before we say goodbye?
Yeah, you guys are crazy. This is there's only one moment, and it is the fourth quarter of the Giants and Dallas Cowboys. If you didn't jump out of your seat on that bomb at the end of the game, and then that field goal, and then I had bets going, like I had George Pickens over receiving yards, and it was just dead, drive after drive, dead, and then finally it hit. That entire fourth quarter beyond is the only memorable thing you're going to have out of this week. What a freaking game! Like of regular season games, it's like a top 5 in the last 10 years. Great. It was an incredible game. It was so much fun. It was like 40 something. Some ridiculous amount of points scored in the fourth quarter. It was ridiculous.
It was super entertaining. We had a tournament game. I got back to see the second half of it. And it was just, again, that's where it kind of took off too. So the most entertaining part of it. By the way, shout out 12U girls making their debut as a team. 19-0. Look at us. Good start to the tournament fall season. I love that. And little Pisapia, she did throw for 3 touchdowns in that game. I wish I could pick her up for Joe Burrow. That's
I was about to say, go call the Bengals.
Real quick, Cam Scatterboo's touchdown was in the fourth quarter of that game. So
there you go. Okay, so you remembered only Cam.
I knew somebody else was going to pick this, so I decided to take the Jalen Hurts one. All right, let's play a little lightning round game, and then we'll get to the 3-1-1 contest, and we'll get out of here too. Let's play panic or patience. I'm going to give you a name of a player. You tell me if it's time to panic or if you should practice patience with them, and give me the quick 20-second why. Let's start with A.J. Brown. Things have not gotten off to a great start for A.J. Brown. As I said, that Eagles offense kind of looks out of sync. A.J. Brown's been around a long time, so Welsh, panic or patience for A.J. Brown?
I think there's a lot of nuance to this. I'm just for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say panic here. And it's not necessarily about him. It's about the offense. Jalen Hurts is back to that thing they did last year where it didn't seem like they were comfortable throwing the ball a whole bunch. So I don't want to be over dramatic about it, but for all intents and purposes, without getting into the gray areas, I'm just going to go with panic because of how their pass offense looks.
All right, Boggs, I'm going to put the same one to you here, but I just wanted to double check to make sure that I'm right, because this is one of those great moments in comedy, but it's got to be correct. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, Marquise Hollywood Brown, De'Ami Brown all have more fantasy points per game than A.J. Brown right now.
I would say I'm going to stick with patience on A.J. Brown, and but I get it if you're panicky. He doesn't look good. I think he's playing at less than 100%, so maybe that is a reason to panic. But I think that they'll get their act together and they won't have to play the Chiefs every week. So I think he's injured. I think he's playing with an injury. Hopefully it doesn't get worse, but I'll say patience for now.
But if you could trade him 1-for-1 at value, like would you get out from him for Ladd right now? Everybody would have laughed at you.
Absolutely.
And I was taking Ladd over A.J. Brown, and it was super.
You're right.
Where
sure. Yeah. I mean, is that a panic move though? I mean,
No,
No,
but
think it's a
I mean, I
smart
think
move.
it's just getting out. Like that's why I was saying there's nuance to this. Like, am I
Yeah,
panicked where I'm like,
yeah.
oh my god, I gotta get rid of
I'd
AJ
rather have
Brown, give me
BTJ.
Hollywood.
Honestly, even with the wrist
Me
thing.
too.
I think
Yeah,
I'd rather have
Sure.
BTJ
But
than
like
AJ Brown.
someone's like, okay, so would you trade him for Debo? Like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's like panic. But like, do I want to get out at even value?
If I could get 1-for-1 deal, yeah, I'd get out because I think he's playing banged up. So yeah,
all right,
I would do
Boggs, panic or patience? RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins has certainly gotten the early run, but we've seen this story before, right? J.K. Dobbins in September. J.K. Dobbins injuries usually loom around. So panic or patience about RJ Harvey?
I mean, he's still on the field. It's not really RJ Harvey. It's just for both of these guys, for Dobbins and Harvey, it's when are they going to work Tyler Batty out of this? Like he's getting all the third down and passing situation stuff. So it's patience for RJ Harvey right now because he's at least seeing the field, unlike Caleb Johnson. Get rid of his ass.
Welsh, you agree?
Yeah, I think patience with RJ Harvey, though I don't love how they use him. They use him as a decoy in this game so much, tons of play action, and then putting him out wide. Like it just doesn't feel like
it's only a matter of time, though, don't you think?
Well, that's what I thought this week. That was one of my bets, that it was like he was going to get more run. He just didn't, but I think he's too talented. So yeah, patience with him.
I agree, patience. He's an interesting buy low. Here's another RB to throw at you. Tyrone Tracy, Welsh, patience or panic?
Done. Why would you have any patience for this team's always going to be, like I said, they're always going to be behind. They're going to be slinging the ball. They already went to Cam Scatterbo here. No patience needed. I would drop him straight up for Scatterbo if that was like an available move to make in like a 10-team league. So yeah, no.
Look, Boggs, you and I were always team Scatterbo, so I assume it's panic time, right? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Brian Thomas Jr., panic or patience? I say patience here. This is an easy one for me.
Yeah, patience. I don't like the
wrist thing is bad. Yeah, patience.
Okay.
It has to be patience on him. He still had 12 targets. Like they'll figure it out.
He was just dropping balls like crazy, and he had the alligator on. That one play where he like held up, and then the play at the end of the game where he just like it was stupid stuff. But let's hope this wrist is not horrible.
All right, last one. James Conner, Welsh, panic or patience? Look, if you can't have a good game against the Carolina Panthers run defense, that starts to panic me a little bit. I'll tell you what, I'm a little panicked only because I do think this might be the year finally where we get the transition. Like we keep waiting every single year for the James Conner turnover and it never happens. Eventually it just has to with the law of averages. And I feel like this might be the peak time for it to happen this season.
Yeah,
but that's my take.
Okay. But like, that was my take in the preseason. So like, I don't know. I'm kind of in the same, like, do I think that the Panthers thing is the issue? No, not really. Not like Benson was going ballistic or anything like that. But Connor scored a touchdown. It was just in the second half, unlike your bet. So I know that's like we're like, ugh. I think it's fine. This is like AJ Brown. I think like if I can get
patience.
1-for-1 value out, I'm going to get out of there. So I don't know if I guess I'm going to say patience because I don't think much is going to change with him.
Your patience with a price. I think that's what.
Yeah. Well, patience with like, if someone wants to give me even value, if someone was like, would you rather have Chuba or James Conner? It would be Chuba. So
I don't think Connor's role is changing at all, is it? It's just Benson is getting third downs. DeMarcado's getting cut out. So I don't think much changes for Connor right here.
How about this? Would you trade your Connor for Travion Henderson right now after Travion did absolutely a squadoosh?
I would want
weekend?
Travion Henderson the rest of this season. Look,
Same.
Look, Jahmyr Gibbs didn't have a touchdown for the first 4 weeks of his rookie season. Okay, people forget how Jahmyr. People wanted to trade him. They wanted to drop him. What's wrong with Jahmyr Gibbs? Just relax. Same thing with RJ Harvey. My big buy low is rookie running backs across the board. I would be buying them. RJ Harvey, Travion Henderson. We'll see what Genty does tonight. Let's get to the 3-1-1 here. Before we do, just a quick reminder, don't forget, join our Discord. Our Fantasy Pros community is always available for you on our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. It's free. It's fun. We've got shows on there on Tuesdays. We want you to be a part of it, so come get your questions answered in the AMAs. Come talk to the other fans, get waiver wire help, trade help. Join our degenerate community of people who love fantasy football on our Discord. It's an awesome space. We want you to be a part of it. And also, let's recap a little 3-1-1 contest. So first week of the 3-1-1 for us here, because we were off week 1. So we went to work. Actually, we didn't predict week 1, I should say. So here we go. So coming out of week 2, I got Jared Goff as a 300-yard passer with Amon-Ra St. Brown as a 100-yard receiver. Yay! Got both of those things. And so far, that's the only thing that any of us have got.
We're not here to talk about the past.
We're not here to talk about the past. We're here to talk
about the future.
We're on to Cincinnati.
That's close. Trevor Lawrence was like 20 yards short. McCaffrey was doing some running, but I didn't.
But look, you still got Ladd active tonight,
so
you could get on the board retroactively. This week, 300-yard passer. I'm going to go with Dak Prescott and I'm going to connect him like I did last week to CD Lamb. So my big narrative last week was, look, I am absolutely 100% buying back in on the Lions at home against Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, and that was the right call. Made a lot of money on that, on Amon-Ra, on Jahmyr Gibbs. Love it. And then give me, I'm going to try to say it right. I don't even know anymore. I'm so confused. Bijan Robinson. I guess we're back to where we were. Bijan, which I like saying. Bijan sounds a little just, I don't know, snooty to me. I don't like it. So Bijan Robinson, no. Bijan Robinson, that's the guy that I want. CD Lamb, Dak Prescott, 100-yard rusher, 100-yard receiver, 300-yard passer. That's where I'm going for this week. Welsh, where are you going for your 3-1-1 in week 3?
Yeah, you guys took the quarterback play, so I'm pivoting. How about this one? How about Mac Jones? And Mac Jones was slinging the ball this past week, which was a little bit to my surprise. They feel very comfortable with it. And he made a couple Jimmy Garoppolo-esque type throws, but he also looked pretty dang good getting the ball to those guys. And then how about the worst quarterback in the NFL, Bryce Young, just still putting up like 300 against the Cardinals. So you got a divisional game. They're not afraid to sling the ball. I'm going to go with Mac Jones dropping a 3-burger on him. You guys got to the sheet before me, and I think you guys really killed where you probably would want to go with the 100-yard rushers and receivers. So I'm pivoting, going to Bucky Irving versus the Jets. Their defense is not looked, especially on the ground, as much as good as you would have thought it was. So we're going to go with Bucky. And then I'm going to pivot off of the wide receiver you think you'd pick with the Lions. Going up against Baltimore's defense, I'm going to go with J-Mo. I think Amon-Ra is going to have and that's it. Amon-Ra is going to have all the attention on that offense, and Jameson Williams, especially with the banged up safeties on Baltimore, you're going to have the big plays for J-Mo. So give me I got a wild version. You guys got chalk plays. You guys are like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. I'm like Mac Jones and Jameson Williams. So
yeah, first of all, I had Jayden Daniels as my quarterback until he's undergoing MRIs and all this stuff. So I found out that when Joe told us. So I pivoted to Dak Prescott. I wasn't looking at Joe's sheet. But
you can absolutely we can hold hands on some of these. There's nothing wrong. Look,
by the way,
Chicago's a good bet there. And look, Bijan. See, now I've worked so hard to say it the other way for the last 3 weeks. I'm so irritated.
Most important thing of week 2. I told
you're right, and you know what's going to be the thing that haunts me for the rest of the week.
You want to talk about haunting? By the way, are you guys seeing this? JJ McCarthy probably out this week too. Our Vigil did not work.
Really.
It didn't work. Do we need to do it again?
Sad.
Do we need to sacrifice?
At the end of the show,
I don't want to do it again. I don't want to lose another quarterback.
Yeah.
My God.
Maybe at the end of the show on the way out, one more time. Maybe just for. And look, this is what happens, right? You have kids, everything goes downhill. You know, it's a beautiful moment. I'm very happy for him.
We're losing them all.
Very happy for JJ McCarthy. Hey, I've got 2 of them. You don't have any kids. Welsh knows what I'm talking about. He's got 2.
Yeah, everything's great over here.
1 minute you're riding high, you're winning games in your hometown, you grew up watching football on the road, and your debut start, and you have a kid. And
JJ McCarthy, by the way, had
a
quarter and a half that was good so far in his NFL career. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, he was horrible yesterday. He was horrible in the first
I want to
half
say
of
this:
game 1.
that Falcons defense is much better than people give it credit for. They were really good against the.
I think the Minnesota offensive line is really bad.
That's also fair, but even last week against Tampa, I watched, I would say, a majority of that game going back and forth.
It better be good. They spent 2 first-round picks on edge rushers.
But that's what I'm saying. They did. They also went free agency and brought in some guys. I think that defense.
Anyway, I'm also taking Jonathan Taylor, since we didn't get through my picks here. Jonathan Taylor against Tennessee as my 100-yard rusher, and Justin Jefferson.
Change your Justin Jefferson now?
I love you. You have Jefferson. Yep.
Everything on the fly box. Just change it all. No,
I'm not changing. I'm going to stick with Justin Jefferson because I don't care who the quarterback is. The game plan should be throw the ball 178 times to Justin Jefferson in this game.
Like
do that.
Yeah. By the way, you might be the problem.
Would it be Carson Wentz finally starting too, right?
Maybe I am the problem. I'm probably the problem.
He took Jayden Daniels, and then he's taking Jefferson and hurting the quarterback. I think we found the problem.
But Carson
Get a
Wentz
witch doctor.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
Wentz
all
is the
about
guy
it.
that they signed late, remember? That was like the last week of training camp Carson Wentz came in. So I don't even know how up to speed he is.
This is going to be, I'm telling you right now, Jordan, I might change. I'm gonna need to change my
Aaron Jones
Jordan
is
Mason.
hurt too.
Jordan Mason. You know what? I'm doing it on the fly. I'm changing it to Jordan Mason right now. Jordan Mason versus. I've changed it a bit.
He's doing it, folks. It's happening.
Can I just point something out real quick?
Yeah, sure.
He just told me I'm the problem, and then picked a guy from a game that I also have another guy in.
Yeah, but it's to spite you. It's a spite.
It is to spite you. I'm trying to center the world.
Carson Wentz running the Vikings offense. What could go wrong? Subscribe here to our Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros. Again, take a look at our schedule. We got a ton of stuff going on the Twitch at all times. We've got live streams on here. We got Q&As. We got lots of fun stuff happening. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can always watch us on demand. And of course, don't forget to leave your comments. What was your biggest takeaway, your favorite moment from week 2 in the NFL? We love to hear from our audience. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. Let me turn my lights off one more time for the Welsh and Scott Bogman. Please, for the love of God, let's keep those QBs healthy. Please. We'll see you next time, kids. Goodbye. Oh, Lord, please keep those QBs healthy. That's what we need to do.
Do you and your loved one have a quarterback that needs saving? Light a candle today.
Light a candle, please.
Aaron Jones
you can buy our candles for
Carson Wentz, Jake Browning. What a week it's going to be. And Tyrod Taylor's back, too.